SharePrices.com.au studios, I'm CJ Dore. Now this video series is all about how to get started in the marketplace with your trading and investing. And up to this point we've covered certain investment products that you can put your money into, and this time we're going to cover indices with our indices education video. So let's have a look. What are indices? Well, it's basically a grouping of stocks. Now an index or an index, think of it similar to a book. A book has an index, and that is a list or documentation of all of the contents within. And let's have a look at one here, and the ASX 200. That is called the benchmark index in Australia, or the quoted indice. When you hear the stock market quoted, say in the news, the market was up 50 points today, or it was down 30 points, it's talking about the overall performance of the contents of the ASX 200. All of the stocks, the top 200 by way of market cap or value, the biggest 200 inside that index. And that's what it is. Just like a book, the index refers to the contents within the book. The index here, in stock market terms, refers to all the companies within that group, and that group there is the ASX 200. Now let's move around the world and have a look in America. On the New York Stock Exchange, they have the Dow Jones, or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's an index or an indice, and it contains the index. The contents within is the top 30 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, and you can trade that in its own right. Let's have a look and move over to Britain, the London Stock Exchange. They have the FTSE 100. That is the contents of the FTSE 100, the top 100 stocks on the London Stock Exchange by way of market cap, or the largest 100. So that's the contents, what is inside that index, the top 100, the top 30, the top 200. So again, just like a book, it has an index, and that refers to a documentation of all of the contents within the book. An index, all the contents within that group, the 200, the 30, or the 100. So that's an index or an indice, and you can trade those. Or we've got index sectors. Let's think about the materials sector, and that's the miners. We know some of those names like Fortescue, like BHP, like Rio, and you can trade that. Or the telco sector, that's an index in its own right you can trade. Think of Telstra, there's one of the big ones in the telco sector. Or we've got the healthcare sector. Maybe we've heard of some of those, Ryman Healthcare for example. That is a sector or an indice in its own right, an indice sector. So the contents of that indice is the whole sector. The miners is one, the telcos is one, or the healthcare companies, all in. It's the contents of that indice. So that's how it works, and you can trade those in their own right. So potential benefits of using this as an instrument or a vehicle for income. Stability or less shock. So when you're trading an entire sector, for example, or the ASX 200, you're going to trade them all as one, the overall performance as an average. Now think of a big market announcement relative to a company, maybe a profit announcement, maybe some bad news about the product or company. The stock can fall and people get scared and sell, and it starts to go down. With an index sector or trading a sector or an indice, you're relying on all of the contents within to even out. So although one company within a sector might fall dramatically, others might be okay, so that's where it evens out. And the same with the ASX 200. Some companies are way up for the day, but overall the performance will even out with the good and the bad together. So that's one example. And let's look at the ASX 200. You can trade that. One of the big companies might be way up, but then there's others that are down, almost like a class of 30 kids. There's your top performers and your bottom performers, but overall it might all even out as far as the exam results go. And multiple sectors can be traded, and companies as well in there. So you're not just trading one company in its own right, or you might have 10 individual ones that you're looking at and monitoring in your own right differently at different times for performance. So that's what indices are all about. So this video series is on how to get started in the market with your trading and investing and making decisions now on which way you're going to go. Indices could be for you, and if it does have an interest, get in touch with us at info@shareprices.com.au to talk about it some more. But that is our indices education video. Hopefully you got something out of that. I'm CJ Dore from the SharePrices.com.au studios.